So today I want to talk about a feature that's baked into Windows that originally was absolutely terrible, but has since gotten really good, and because of that original terrible start, a lot of people aren't using it, but I think they should. Hey, what's up everybody, Dimitri of Caddac Gaming here, and today I'm going to go over why I think you should be using the Xbox Game Bar and a few different ways on you can utilize its features. If you find anything in this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. And let's just hop right into the video. So to get into the game bar, it's really easy. You press Windows G and it'll bring up this overlay. Now within this overlay, there are a lot of features. You can access a bunch of them from the top here. So you could pull up your Xbox social if you want. If you have, friends on Xbox, it's super useful. The one thing that I use a lot is actually the audio tool here. So you can end up pulling down your audio tool, and this is your mixer. So if you go ahead and right click your speaker down here and then you go to the mixer, you'll see the volume for all your different programs, or you can do it right here. So the nice thing about the Windows Game Bar is you can do this while you're in a game. So if you decide you want to lower the game volume through Windows, you just press Windows G while you're in the game. You can move the game volume down, you can bring Discord up, you can bring Discord down. You get a lot of options. You can change which audio device you're using. You can change which microphone you're using. Super useful tool right there. And this is probably the one that I use the most often. Next up right here is the capture tool. So you can really easily capture gameplay, a recording. So if you wanted to show somebody how to use something on Discord, or you wanted to help a friend out, and it's going to be easier for you to show them on your computer, you can record right here. You can include your microphone. You can take snapshots. You can do a whole bunch of stuff right from in the game bar. You can use this to, capture game highlights and a few other things. It's really helpful, and it's nice that it's baked in so that you don't have to rely on the NVIDIA software to do it or OBS. You can just do it right from in this overlay. Another one that's hidden up here, and I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger, is this system monitor. So the really awesome thing about the system monitor is that you can, of course, see everything, and you can go ahead and pin it. So when you pin it, if you go ahead and close the game bar, that stays there. And you can do that with a whole bunch of these panels. You can pin them and they will stay when the overlay closes. But the really helpful one for this is actually doing an FPS counter if whatever game you're launching doesn't have one. So you can force any game through Steam to have an FPS counter, but sometimes launching games that are outside of Steam through Steam to get that FPS counter doesn't always work all that great. This is a really easy way to do that. This is what I used when I was kind of keeping an eye on my FPS when I was playing Cyberpunk. So to do it, you want it only to show FPS. You would go up here, you would uncheck all the rest of these here. You're going to make this small, and then you're going to go ahead and press Windows G. Now your FPS will be up there, and when you're in a game, it'll show you your FPS. So as you can see here, the overlay is up at the top left-hand corner. It's showing my FPS in the game. Right now I'm just in the menus, but it is showing the FPS. What I do suggest you do, if you are going to be using this, is to get rid of the background and change the color. So you can do that all through the settings. So if you go ahead and click this little button here, you can go ahead and override the default. We're going to make it 100% transparent, and we're going to change the color to green. That now makes it a lot easier to see, and it sticks out in basically every single game. I would highly suggest you change that color to green if you're going to use it. And if you do want to keep an eye on the rest of your stuff, you can go ahead and throw your CPU and all that up there. And when we close it, you can keep track of everything. Now, every Windows update, the game bar gets more features, and as you can see here through the widgets, which you would go to click here and you would see all the widgets, they are adding more and more features. So you can actually have your Spotify open right here, and you can control your Spotify. So if you listen to music on your Spotify while you play games, instead of having to Alt-Tab or use your phone to try to change tracks, you can do it right within this overlay. The overlay makes it so much easier. Because again, it can be opened at any time and it's super quick. You do have a bunch of features here. I use it a lot to message friends. A lot of my friends are on Windows, and if they're on Windows, they'll also have this feature. I have a lot of friends that play on Xbox, and I can message them directly there. Really helpful. The most useful ones that I use the most often, though, are the FPS counter, the audio, and switching around the audio, the mix, and the voice. I use those the most. So you can also change a bunch of the shortcuts for that. If you want to go up and go ahead into the cog, you click the settings. You can go to the shortcuts. You can change the shortcut to open up your game bar if you don't have a Windows key, or if you want to use something else, you can go ahead and do that. You can alter your screenshot. You can alter your record the last 30 seconds. And the recording of the last 30 seconds is what originally had a decent hit on performance just by having it activated. But recently I haven't noticed anything too significant. And if you aren't focusing too much on the numbers, you really won't notice too much of a difference. Now, also part of these widgets is kind of like a resource monitor that'll allow you to see what's using a lot of your CPU, for example. So you just go up here to the widgets, you go to resources, and this will show you the top tasks that are being used and what kind of impact they have. This can be really helpful if for whatever reason in the middle of a game, your system really starts to chug and get really slow and laggy, and you want to quickly see if some kind of process is getting really high up there and maybe taking priority over your game and slowing it down. This is a really quick and easy way to find out. So with this resource monitor, you can actually click it to show more, and it'll end up looking almost just like your task manager without having to open the task manager. If you have this page open already, this makes it really helpful, really useful. You can keep this open at all times so that as soon as you close and open up your game bar, it's right there. And you can change around a bunch of the settings. You can make it show you as values, percentages. You can hide certain processes under a certain percentage if you want. And you can make it update more normally, a little slower. I would suggest just leaving it normal. And finally, there is actually a widget store where if certain companies or developers want to make a widget for the game bar, they can. So you can go back up again to the widget menu here, click the widget store, and there are a whole ton of widgets that you can put onto your overlay. And as I mentioned, over time, more and more of these will become available. The game bar is becoming more and more feature rich, and this just allows you to have more and more options. Now, it's really cool that you have your IQ if you have IQ, XSplit if you have that. If you play Destiny 2, you can manage your inventory through the overlay. This makes things really good, really cool, and I'm really looking forward to new widgets that they're going to be adding. If in the future they add some really cool widgets that I think you guys should know about, I will definitely make a video about it. And that's it. Some really simple but really great ways to use the game bar built into Windows. I have found it super helpful. I've used it quite a bit lately, especially the FPS counter and the mixer. Certain games I had would launch at a reduced volume, and I would use the mixer to turn it back up. Made that quite a bit easier. If you guys found this video helpful, as always, I really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. It helps me out, and we're constantly inching closer to 1,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate everybody who watches my videos, comments on my videos, and subscribes to the channel. If you have any questions or comments about today's video, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, or if you want to have more of a discussion, you can go ahead and join the Discord. I'll leave a link in the description below. I stream on Twitch from Friday until Tuesday. Come check me out and say hello. If you have any questions, you can ask me there in the chat. Say hello. I'll try my best to answer you as quickly as I can. Again, thank you for watching to the end of the video. Really appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next Friday.